flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Well, here we are at the end of the road, and it all comes to a complete halt here at Iowa Speedway. Thank y'all for joining us for the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series here on V-Speed. I'm Eddie Smith. Glad to have y'all here tonight for what is going to be a fantastic race, a race for the championship. Who is going to be the champion in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series? And we're going to find out here tonight. So thank you all so much for joining us. Got to thank our sponsors, Right Now Roofing, Jam Printing and Promotions, Veterans for Life Foundation, Cruising Classics, and Premier Setups. Well, let's take a look at your schedule. Here they are. We are at the end, the very last race. The season has been an incredible season, and it's going to be a fantastic run to the finish, and we are that's it. I'm sad a little bit. It's been a great season here in the Xfinity Series, and can't wait to start up the IndyCar. But tonight it's all about the Final Four. We've got 17 drivers here tonight, but the Final Four is going to be racing for a championship. Jacob Denson, Jake Ellingson, Scott Phelps, and Jamie Barkas all fighting for that championship spot. Whoever finishes the highest, they can all finish 4 spots to the last place, and whoever is the highest finisher will be your Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series champion. And you're going to catch it all right here on V-Speed. If you're not subscribed to V-Speed, please hit us up. Hit that subscribe button. Let them know that you're there. Let V-Speed know that it was worth bringing all this stuff over here. Man, we're glad to have everything on the main channel. Take a look at Iowa Speedway, just under a mile long. It's sort of a, I wouldn't call it a short track. It's got a lot of banking. It's fast. It's speedy. You got to be careful. Don't want to push the car too hard. But you see there, 14 degrees in the turn, 10 degrees on the front. So a little bit of banking to help rotate that car. But there are some massive bumps in the corners that you have to be aware of. You get up too high, and one, there's a bump there, and right in the middle of the corner, it'll grab you. You have to be careful. You got to wait. Don't get on throttle too soon. You hit that bump to bring the car around, especially this Xfinity car. But Iowa has put on some really good shows before and should expect it to be the same here tonight. All right, qualifying is underway, and right now, Patrick Dravick is on top of the board, and one of your playoff drivers, Jacob Ellingson, is sitting there in second. Another playoff driver right there in third. So the Goat Locker boys, you can tell they have been practicing because they are 1, 2, 3 at the moment. And still waiting on a few people to complete their laps. Jeremy Gibbs is out on the track. A couple folks like Patrick Dravick running multiple laps under under qualifying to see if maybe he can do something about it. Jacob Denson starting in 7th, going to have a lot of work to do, but look there, 1st through 7th, all under a 10th, so you can throw a blanket, and then even 2/10 back to Alex Cruz. Scott Phelps is in the 5th position as we wait on the rest of them to qualify, but let's go ahead and let's jump into the national anthem. And we'll be back for the grid in just a second.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, all right, thanks to Jared Ashley for that rendition of the national anthem. As we get ready for the grid, let's go ahead and jump in. See where everybody's going to be starting here tonight. On the front row, going to be Patrick Dravick with Jacob Ellingson. One of your playoff drivers starting out front where you want to be. Jamie Vargas, another one, going to start in the 3rd position with Craig Bontrager in that 4th spot. In 5th, Scott Phelps, another playoff hopeful, in 5th with his teammate Charlie Harcum in 6th. 7th, going to be Jacob Denson, probably your favorite for the championship over the whole season, but he's got some work to do. He's going to start the deepest in the field in 7th. 8th, George Jewell. 9th, Alex Cruz. John Anthony rounds out your top 10. In 11th, going to be Matt Knights and Jonathan Barker in 12th. 13th, Jeremy Gibbs. Levi McCarty in 14th. 15th, going to be Tyler Justice and Eric Martinez. Rounds out your field. Woo! Well, I'm ready to get this thing rolling. Let's take a look at our driver cams. Who we got on the docket today? Well, we got the regular old folks. We got Jacob Ellingson, Patrick Drab, Jeremy Gibbs there on the cams. We definitely appreciate y'all for putting those up for us as they are rolling off the grid right now. We're getting ready to go green. The race analysis, 115 laps here tonight. You can go about 90 laps on fuel for one stop if you need to. You do have 4 tire sets in the race, but I don't think you'll use them all. And yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Well, Jamie Marcus is actually from what he said last week, he is going to be racing from a hotel room. So got to be looking out for that. That could play a major factor. So far, he's been able to lay down a pretty fast lap time, but we'll see if that plays a factor. Hotel internet, I mean, there's a lot going against you. Your rig is not exactly the way you want it to, so we'll see if he can make it happen there. With a little bit of a disadvantage. What a way to win a championship if that was the case. So looking back on the season, Jacob Denson, 4 wins, 8 top 5s, 10 top 10s. I mean, just incredible. 342 laps led. He was definitely the best driver all season. But then you got Jacob Ellingson, who was also really good. 2 wins, 10 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. So he was pretty good. Just Jacob Denson had those dominant races. Scott Phelps with 1 win. Jamie Marcus also with the 1 win. So these 4 drivers, all deserving. By the time you get to this point, you are definitely deserving of racing for a championship. And, man, what incredible races that we've had. The cutoff races have been amazing. And tonight we get to all settle it here at Iowa. Pace car is off. Last race of the season, Iowa. Green flag is out. Who's going to win this championship? We're going to find out right here. So far, so good for the 2 Goat Locker boys out front. They start to pull away just a little bit. And I'll tell you about Iowa. Iowa is a interesting track. I'm known for hating it, and there is a reason. It's just awful track. And what I mean by awful, it is so difficult to race here. On board with Jacob Ellingson, and you're going to see exactly why it's difficult. Go down. You have to really be careful not to get on the throttle. You have to roll. You see those bumps. Look how the car is just shaking around as he's going down into turn 1. And in turn 3, you can't. If you're on the outside, you got to watch out for that bump up there. It will knock your teeth out. 3 and 4 is a lot smoother. You can actually, it opens up on the exit so you can drive out towards the wall. But then you have to carry that momentum all the way down. Here, watch this bump. Boom, right there. There's multiple on entry. And you really have to wait until that bump you kind of hit it, then get back on the gas. And that's how you keep that momentum up all the way through. But so far, so good for Ellingson. Marcus hanging on right behind him. And then you got Scott Phelps back in that 5th position. Going to have some work to do to get up through the field. Denson has already made it past his teammate, Charlie Harcum. And he is trying to crack into the top 5. I actually see him running sort of that upper lane, trying to use that momentum off the corner to carry more speed down the straightaway. And I think, that maybe that's the one saving grace of Iowa is you're able to run multiple lanes right on the bottom, sort of run a higher line and cut the exit down. There are multiple ways of doing it. And you can see Scott Phelps, Jacob Denson, both trying a little bit different line, kind of going where they ain't type situation. But this is going to be a fast race. Only 24 seconds a lap, 115 laps. This is not a long race by any standard, so you need to be making moves quickly. And right now, everybody in the top 7 is running about the same lap time, or top 6 for sure. Starts to drop off a little bit after Jacob Denson. But this is Iowa's one of those tracks you really can push hard and not really worry about the tires that much. You don't have to save. If you save here, you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be so hard to pass once the tires start to wear out. That outside line will be pretty strong to hold off folks. But right now, Patrick Drabbit showing why he was an incredible driver all season in this series as well. He has had some great success in other series, and yes, showing his strength early. Started on the pole and really hasn't let up. Track position, a massive importance here. As you can see, it's nobody really been able to make passes much at all, especially in this top 5, and everybody's sort of evenly spaced out. Just not a whole lot of off-throttle time to be able to try to make moves, get runs. It's pretty gripped up out there. Well, let's just take a look at the weather and see what the track is. Track's only 106 degrees. We would love to see it a little bit higher to make this thing slip and slide, but that's going to be good enough for now, as we're going to start to see a little battle back here. Scott Phelps, your playoff driver's moving towards the front. And with it only being 16 drivers, you'd think that you got to be careful. You really can't make any mistakes. You've got to look at them go all the way up towards the wall. They're almost hitting the wall on entry. Scott Phelps and Jacob Denson. So trying to work that outside. Look at the run that he's going to get on Craig. We'll see if he tries to work the top here. He does. Not quite as good in 1 and 2. Then you see him going over those bumps. He's going to try to cut the exit of 2, but just not quite able to get the speed that he needs to make that happen. And that'll only get worse. So they're searching around, trying to find that little bit of extra to make these passes. You're going to see Craig Bontrager really nice there. Actually let Scott Phelps have that outside, and that will give Scott that position on him, and he should be able to complete the pass as they come off the corners. That high side is pretty strong when you're side by side. So Scott Phelps up into the 4th position, and it looks like Jacob Denson is going to try to follow suit. They got a ways to go. They're 2 seconds off the leader, about a second off of 3rd place, Jamie Barkus, who is trying to keep his teammate and playoff championship 4 rival in his tow and trying to make it happen. He said last week he was not confident at all in tonight's race. It's because of his racing situation, racing with a rig that he's not too familiar with, not comfortable with, in a hotel, traveling for work. And that's definitely you can see a little bit of blinking there. That's also something that you have to worry about, but he's doing good. Running really competitive lap times. Jacob Ellingson and Scott Phelps run the exact same lap time last time by, so yeah. Checking out Jacob here. Looks calm. He's got control of the championship, running in 2nd. And if you're expecting a wild race, you know, I just don't think you're going to get that tonight. I don't think we're going to see any kind of wild, crazy. I think it's going to be a very measured race. I think you've got to hit your marks. You've got to be smooth. You've got to be consistent. You know, if Scott Phelps and Jacob Denson do run these guys down, I do think it's going to be difficult to make these passes. And not only do you have to go through one playoff driver, then you got to go through the 2nd playoff driver, then you got to go through Patrick Drabbit, who is going to be obviously fighting hard for his teammates. So it is not going to be easy for Scott Phelps and Denson, even though they are starting to run them down, and you can see them in the distance there. Running up in that 3rd lane. It definitely is fun running up there, I will tell you that. That looks like a lot of fun. Running around the bottom can get kind of boring, but you see him kind of searching around. Scott running that 3rd line, really arcing it off of the corner to try to minimize the speed that you scrub off the corner. You try to carry it down into 3 and 4 here. And then running the outside really just allows you to keep the RPMs up. And the same thing off of turn 4. You really work that outside and get a run down the straightaway. The always ever looming question about the Highline on iRacing is just how much it's going to mess your tires up. You know, while Iowa is not really a tire killer, tire heat is still a factor, and you have to consider that when you're going to be thinking about the handling of your car in a long run. So these guys know what they're doing for sure, but we'll see how that all plays out as we get deeper into this run. And with only 16 drivers, the likelihood of a caution, you know, no stages here in this series, you can't really count on a caution. You gotta go out there and get it. Checking in on some battles that we do have. Levi McCarty, George Jewell. This is a battle for 9th place. Levi started about in the 14th position and has moved up quite a bit. Been able to gain 5 spots from where he started. So Levi starting in the back, not qualifying, not wanting to be a factor in the playoff. But they are here to race. It's always a tough deal. That's why you see the field sizes start to shrink as people get down. You know, oh, is he going to get grab the wall a little bit there off of 4? But as we get down to the end of the season, guys, you know, they don't want to be a factor in the playoffs. They don't want to ruin someone's championship chances. And all that stuff keeps folks away, which I disagree with. I think you got to come out and race, and it's racing. That's part of it. You know, if the playoff drivers have more folks to drive around and race, that makes the championship race just more fun, more challenging, and it I think gives you a more deserving champion. So I appreciate these guys showing up even though they're not in the playoffs, and they want to win. Getting a win is awesome, no matter if you're in the playoffs or not. So Levi starting in the back, probably just trying to give the respect to the playoff drivers, but he is definitely here to race, and he has been fast all season long. Looking forward to see what he can do next season when we get there. Starting to roll up here on Alex Cruz, and Levi's car seems to be able to run just about everywhere. He's going to get a nice run through the middle and exit of turn 2. And down into 3, going right down to the bottom. Let's see if he can clear that 5. Let's see if he can push up off the corner. He does. Alex Cruz way out of the groove. And so now Levi up to 8th place right now on lap 26. And you can see we're almost, I mean, the race is going to be over so fast. They're going to have to make one stop, and this race is going to fly by. So Scott Phelps, though, starting to put pressure here on Jamie Barkus as he starts to fall back from Jacob Ellingson. But Scott Phelps, slowly but surely, Scott was the fastest car on the track last time by, and he is putting in work here as he's right on the back bumper of Jamie Barkus. We'll see how hard Barkus will fight it. Can't imagine you'd want to let him go, but he's going to give him that outside line and say, hey, here you go, take it. Scott's been running that outside line. He will not be able to get. Oh, he actually will. It was really impressive. He gasses it up in the middle of 1 and 2. Let's see if he can get the run he does. So now Barkus continues to fight there on the inside. But I think right here off of 4, Scott Phelps is going to take over. 3rd position, he does with authority. And now he's got to run down 2nd place Jacob Ellingson. Patrick driving out to a 1-second lead. And now we're starting to see a little bit interesting race here as Denson, Scott Phelps are coming alive here. We wondered how that outside line would fare later in the run. Tires, like I said, you'll come into pit road and it'll be odd because you'll feel like, man, I am tight. My tires are worn out. I've done burned them up. You'll come in, they'll be 88%. So it's a little weird how Iowa does, but you overheat those tires and it just, you lose all grip. So that's what they're fighting right now. They're just trying to fight the heat in the tires. So far, Scott Phelps, man, looks really, really good at the moment with that unorthodox line. And you wonder if Jamie's not going to be paying attention to that, trying to implement that himself as he is starting to fall back and continues to lose traction to his playoff rivals. And you see he goes right up to the top, taking away the lane from the 7 here as Denson You can see the run right there off the corner as he points the nose towards the bottom after going in on the high side and just drives really fast off of the corner, and he has a lot of grip, able to get some momentum, and looks down to the inside, but you can see where the top side prevails there on exit, just not able to get position. So I think for Jacob Denson, this is going to be a little bit more difficult. He's going to have to do what Scott did and try to sneak up to the outside if he can. You can see Jamie really struggling from middle exit. He is really having a hard time getting the power down and getting it back up to top speed. It's a nice little battle, three-way battle for fourth position. Patrick Drabbit continues to lead. He's got about a 9/10 of a second lead over his teammate. And here goes Jacob Denson again, looking down to the inside. I think 3 and 4 is a little bit better place to try to pass on the bottom. We'll see if he can make it. Barkus drives it really deep into the corner. See if he can maintain that. Denson going to get side by side, but the run off the corner is going to be able to hold on for now, but you can see it. Denson really putting pressure. And, you know, with the race as short as it is, Barkus has to fight. He cannot let him go here. He's got to figure it out. He's got to see what these guys are doing, try to imitate it. You see, he was trying to imitate his teammates for a while, and then once Scott Phelps drove around him, he starts taking away their line, trying to watch and see. That's a sign of a really good driver, is trying to imitate what somebody else is doing that is, you know, better than what you're doing. You come in with a plan, you're not able to execute it. You've got to be able to adapt. I think that's where, you know, guys who go out and set fast lap times and guys who win races are a lot different. You've got to be able to go into a track, different track temperatures, track states, and you've got to be able to adapt. Some guys are going to find it, but you've got to be able to watch what they're doing, implement it, and that's how you win races. So Barkus doing exactly that. He's becoming sort of a menace here for Denson, as Denson feels like he's faster, but Barkus using that outside line a little bit too far. He gets way out of the groove. No grip up there in that marble area, and this might lose him that fourth position. He drives it deep into the corner, but Denson's going to get the run off, and let's see if Denson can clear him off of 2. There it is. So Jacob Denson up to fourth. Barkus now fourth in the standings. Barkus going to drive it deep into 3 and 4. But I hate to say it, it's a little bit desperate when you do that. You're really pushing a lot of pressure on your right front. He's just desperately trying to get position back in, but he's going to have to find a little bit extra. And, you know, it might be a position where, hey, you can make it on fuel from here on out. And if you feel like you're going backwards, maybe you come in early. You know, I would imagine most folks are going to split it right down the middle, right around lap 60 or 55. But maybe if you're Barkus, you come down pit road a little bit early or run longer. You know those guys are going to try to split the difference. Maybe you run long and try to make up the difference on the back end. But Barkus falling back here. Let's check in on our leader. Patrick Drabbit still holding that 9/10 of a second lead. Jacob Ellickson is still pretty quick. However, he is not as consistent as Patrick or Scott Phelps has been. Scott has been able to kind of reel him in about 0.8 of a second right now. Jacob kind of will hit a fast lap, then a slower one, then a fast lap, then a slower one, where Scott Phelps is pretty consistent across the board with his lap times, and that's really showing why he is starting to run him down ever so slightly. Still got a great battle going on as Jamie continues to fall through the field, and now he's falling back to the 6th position, and now here comes Charlie Harcum with a big run to the outside, and Barkus is going to lose a couple spots here really quickly as his tires, they are toast. He is not able to get on entry through the middle. You can see the difference. He is in trouble. So Jamie Barkus not having the run he wanted here early. I would imagine we'll see him come down pit road. I think if you're sliding this far back, you got to come down get tires. You've already screwed them up. Come down, take tires, and try to readjust and be there in case the caution comes out. But he is now almost 8 or 6 seconds off the lead. I know he would wish I would shut up about it, but it is what it is. He is a playoff driver. We're going to continue to talk about it. But starting to slide back still, as his lap times have really fallen off. He's about a 25.9, where Patrick Dravik's running at 25.3. And we'll say, I've already mentioned it once or twice, but he is running in a different environment. He's running with a different wheel. He's running a different little setup. And, you know, you think, well, it's just a game. You should be fine. It's not. It's totally different. That feel when you get into the cockpit of hitting your marks, you know, the wheel feel, where your pedals and stuff, how they work, all that stuff is a major factor. You have to have that comfort level. And when you're in a new environment, new setup, it really does make it difficult to be as competitive as before. But look at Levi McCarty continues to move up through the field, 8 spots from where he started. Started in 14th, now takes over the 6th spot, and he is really scooting at the moment. Not as fast as the leaders, but he is definitely really, really quick right now. Jacob Ellings and Scott Phelps are running exactly the same lap times. So this pit stop that's going to be coming up soon, I would imagine, is going to be really important for these drivers. You got to nail it. And Iowa is not an easy pit road, and we'll kind of watch it as they go down the pit road. I'm actually going to go on board with Patrick Dravik. Oh. On board with Patrick Dravik here. I want you to watch the pit road entry here. Watch here on your left. There will be a line that points down to the pit road. This is what you have to get into. On the gas here. Now, you've got to cut right there. Look, you got to cut immediate left. That is a very difficult pit road entry. And that is going to be maybe the key to who wins this championship, is who's able to get on pit road without spinning out, without making a mistake. You don't want to speed. You don't want to have any issues, because right now the championship battle is between Jacob Ellingson and Scott Phelps. And they have a 1.2 second lead difference between the two. And that is, I mean, there's enough that you know, sliding on, coming on the pit road, locking your brakes up, not getting, you know, missing pit road, which is possible. We've seen folks do that here at Iowa. Just completely miss it, have to go back on the track. All that is, oh my goodness, is somebody. Jeremy Gibbs is blown up on the track. Big problems for Jeremy, as he has had a massive issue. Ah, goodness. Let's see if we can go back here on the replay and see what happened. And you can see he has already gone around. Looks like he got loose. Watching on board with the 2 here. Yeah, just gets in there and loses the back end. Tries to hang on to it, overcorrects right up into the wall. And that car is toast. You see the motor blows. He's able to get it around to pit road, I believe, but going to get that fast repair, but he's going to go multiple laps down. As Jamie Barkus has come down pit road and has made his stop. So Barkus back out on track, comes down here on lap 51, and I expect to see everybody else follow suit soon. But we'll see. We'll see what everybody decides to do. Scott Phelps and Jacob Ellingson are the ones that we are paying attention to as they are battling for a championship. You can see John Anthony there on those fresh tires going to the inside of Scott. When will these guys pull the trigger? Patrick has been able to hold on to this lead for quite a while. But who will come out? He'll come out with this lead. We're going to find out. I think Barkus made the right call. Come down, try to get some track position, hope for a caution. I mean, he's going to be suffering, you know, towards the end of this run, but I think he was falling through the field. He's got to look at his tire percentages and say, hey, what do I need to do? I need to try this different line. I need to implement it here on this run and try to be better. And he can make up some time here, try to undercut these guys, get out in front of them, and try to hold them off again. But here we go. Coming down into pit road. Jacob Ellingson, Patrick Drabick, both coming down pit to make their what will be their final stop. And then Scott Phelps is the one that we're waiting on. Is here comes everybody. Jacob Denson, George Jewell, Alex Cruz, all coming down to make their stop. 4 tires and fuel will be the call. We'll see if Scott Phelps is coming in. Looks like he is. Taking it real easy as he gets that on the apron. And I think, look how difficult it is to make it on this pit road. Very, very tough. Down to 45 miles an hour. So Scott Phelps brings it down pit road for his final stop, and we're going to see who got on pit road and off pit road the best. Jacob Ellingson with a 14.4. He got 41.5 seconds on pit road, and we'll see if Scott Phelps can do anything about it, can undercut or, jump those two. But I feel like, honestly, I feel like Ellingson and Drabick got on pit road a lot better. I think Scott Phelps was very conservative. And here goes Patrick Drabick by Scott Phelps now, and there goes Jacob Ellingson, and Scott Phelps now just coming out of pit road. So just a 1-lap differential on those tires. Scott Phelps is going to have a ton of work to do as he comes back out on track. So far, so good for Jacob Ellingson, who's going to have second place once all this cycles around. And he's going to have a pretty massive lead, as even Barkus wasn't able to kind of jump over those guys. But Eric Martinez is your leader at the moment. That number 16 started back in the 16th position. Still has yet to come down pit road as Craig Bontrager comes down pit road. Levi McCarty comes down, so still waiting on these guys to make their entry on the pit road. You see Jacob Denson going by there. It's check cashing time right now. I mean, you better be hustling if you plan on winning this championship, or if you're Patrick Drabick trying to win this race. And so far, he has not been challenged. Jacob Ellingson hasn't been able to get any closer than about 0.8 of a second that last run. So far, so good. Go Locker. Trying to win the race and the championship all in one. All right, Barkus. Denson able to get by him. So at this moment, man, Jamie really needs a caution really, really bad. I think it was a good attempt. I think that was what he had to do. But, man, struggling here in this 15 car. Scott Phelps, honestly, if he stayed out a little bit longer than some of these guys, but I think Scott has got a lot of work he's going to have to do here at Iowa, and it's not going to be easy to pass these guys. He was really good on the long run, but I think he was just too conservative on pit road. He was Ellingson had, inside of the whole pit lane from the time he entered to the time he exited. Jacob Ellingson 41.5 in pit lane, where Scott Phelps 42.1. So that's that difference that I was talking about that Scott needed to find, and he was just so conservative getting on pit lane, where I think Ellingson and Drabick a little bit more aggressive, and I think that made the difference. But right now, Scott is about 6.6 seconds off of the lead, which is right around 5 seconds to Patrick Drabick, as Matt Knights is out on the track in that 64 machine. Still waiting on him to come down pit road. He's been on the track for 65 laps. Here comes Matt Knights down to make his pit stop, as we're going to watch him try to get down off of pit road here. Watch him make that left-hand turn very, very slowly. Makes that entrance onto pit road, so he'll come down and get 4 tires and fuel. These guys are good to go the rest of the way on fuel. So now it's all what you're doing on the track. Got a little battle here between Alex Cruz and Levi. Levi on a little bit older, or a little bit newer tires. Going to go around Alex Cruz, set his sights forward here on George Jewell, about a second out. Goes by Jeremy Gibbs in the 2, who's got that fresh Chevy Camaro. Back out on track after hitting the wall, blowing his motor. And that's a good thing about having a fast repair. It's always nice to be able to do that. But here's the real battle, I think. Yeah, I mean, right now it is, unless we get a caution, I don't see these guys making up time on Ellingson. Ellingson has been too strong all race long. And even though Scott Phelps was starting to put pressure on him, he's got a lot of work to do here to do that. And only about 45 laps to get it done. So he is, yeah, I just said you got to qualify well. You had to have a good first run, get on and off pit road as quick as possible. And right now, Jacob Ellingson has been able to do that. And he is looking to run away with this championship. Fly the camera around, see if we can't find. Got a little paint scheme, a new paint scheme for the 36 of George Jewell. It's like Chaps Roadhouse. Local steakhouse in their area, and they, hey, look, if you're ever over in Lakeview, run over there and get you a steak. Sounds pretty good right now, I'm going to be honest. So go check out Chaps Roadhouse if you're in that area. Now, I kind of pulled that out of my behind based on the chat thing. So Lakeview, I don't know where that is. So, you know, just go to your nearest Lakeview and see if there is a steakhouse there. And maybe you'll see George Jewell there, and maybe you can talk to him. A star here in the Goat Locker Racing Series. Jacob Denson. Right behind Craig Bontrager. Craig's got a little bit better tires. So Craig was actually doing pretty well there towards the end of that run. Just seemed like it took him a while to kind of get going. But Denson is your closest driver to the. He's sitting second in your playoffs, but you can see just how far back they are. About 3 seconds back from Jacob Ellingson. Oh, it's Lakeview, Michigan. So if you're in Lakeview, Michigan, go check that out. If you're Lakeview anywhere else, they may have a steakhouse, but it's probably not Chaps. So. See, that's why I don't like Iowa. I mean, it's so spread out. It takes so long to pass. It can be so frustrating, and there's just not much you can do about it. Iowa is very similar to Phoenix in my eyes. Of just, it's not a racy track. Phoenix is good on the restarts, you know, with the dog leg, but it gets spread out. Very, very difficult to make passes, especially as the tires start to fade. And so very similar here in Iowa. It's been really interesting to see Denson and Phelps use that outside line as, ooh, Denson's going to get in the wall. That's going to open the door for Phelps here. He's going to drive right up on him. But it just takes so long to make passes here. There's not a whole lot of off-throttle time. There's not a lot of opportunity for, you know, working the throttle. Once you get back on it, you're pretty much full throttle. I mean, they're full throttle here. It's not really necessary to feather it at all. So it's very hard to gain a little bit of time, and we've seen that up front. I mean, Denson has been able to gain 3 spots from the start of the race, but outside of that, it's been pretty much where everybody started. Pit stops kind of changed the order a little bit, but it's just very, very difficult. But Jacob Ellingson with just just about 35 laps to go here, and Iowa is in control of the championship. Patrick Drabick in control of the race. He's out to 1.3 seconds. But talking a little bit about Jacob, Jacob is in a great spot here. It's so difficult because you get so stressed out because all the thoughts go into your head because you let that enter your brain. You let it go into your brain and you go, hey, you know what? I might win this championship. Once you start doing that and you let that in, go, I think I'm going to win. Then all of a sudden, you start having all those thoughts. Well, I hope there's no caution. The caution could really ruin this. Or I hope I don't, lose my internet connection or my computer doesn't flicker or something like that. You start thinking of, in your head, all the things that can go wrong. I hope a lap car doesn't spin out. I hope, I hope I don't spin out, get too loose. You start to overthink things. So in this moment, Jacob, and I'm sure he's doing this, is just keeping himself calm, saying, hey, I don't have this race or this championship won yet. I'm not the champion. I'm not in the championship until I cross the checkered flag. And that's the mentality you have to have because anything can happen here. You don't want to get too high, too low. You want to stay pretty solid and hit your marks, and that's exactly what he's doing. He is faster than any of the drivers behind him as they are sort of battling here as Craig is sort of holding this little group up. Denson has been all over him, but has not been able to make the pass. So now caution would change everything, and it's always looming. It's always possible. We watch as Jacob Denson finally gets that inside position. We'll see if he can clear Craig here, and not quite able to, so they'll go side by side. He does have a little bit of an advantage. Craig going to drive really deep into the corner, almost touches the wall, and Jacob's going to really slide him off the exit of the corner and take over that third spot. And I'm sure Jacob is like, man, you're not even in the playoffs. You're not battling for a championship. Why are you racing so hard? I know it's easy to get frustrated in these scenarios as you watch your championship drive away from you, but that's the beauty of NASCAR, I think, is even though you are in a game 7 type situation, there are other folks on the track that are here for their own what they're trying to do. They're trying to race. They're having a good time, and they want to get up there and finish as good as they can. So I think that's what makes it so interesting is everybody's not required to get out of the way. I mean, yeah, you would appreciate it, but that's sort of the I think the cool thing about it. Because otherwise you would have 4 cars out there. As Craig going to get in the wall though, and that's going to make it easy for Scott Phelps. He's able to get right around him. But I think that's what makes it interesting. If there's only 4 guys out there racing on the track, it would be a really boring race. So I applaud Craig for battling hard for his position and going for it. So Jacob Denson now has been able to clear Craig. So is Scott Phelps. So they move into the 3rd and 4th position. They're going to have 3.6 seconds to run down Jacob Ellingson. And unfortunately, the pace that they would have to run if Jacob Ellingson able to keep up his current pace, which he has not wavered from, it's just not going to be enough time. They're going to have a caution to get this win, to get this championship. So these guys hoping for a caution, hoping for something, but it's impossible. I mean, Jacob Ellingson would have to spin out, have like a major issue as he's actually pulling away here at the moment. So they're not going to catch him on the track. I know I'm supposed to build drama, but there really ain't none here. Jacob's just going to have to get it to the finish line. Patrick Drabick starting to run into some lap traffic here. That's Eric Martinez on the outside and driving a pretty nice little, I like that paint scheme. That Cincinnati Bengals machine looks pretty sweet. So, and of course the Right Now Roofing 07 machine. And this is the stuff that, I think this is the stuff that Ellingson is the most nervous about. And you wonder if he's not going, hey, Pat, if you don't mind, just take it easy here. Don't push the issue too much and make contact and bring out a caution. Because this is what you worry about. You worry about where lap traffic's trying to stay on the lead lap. They're battling for their positions. And one little slip-up mistake from either one of these drivers and a caution comes out, and that's not what Jacob wants at all. So He is nervously watching. And a lot of times there is voice chat inside iRacing, so that they can talk to each other if they're not on Discord together. They can push a button and talk to each other in the race. And you'll have some folks in the middle of the race, they'll key up and they'll go, oh, oh. I hate those guys. I hate whoever that is. I don't like them because that'll scare the mess out of you. You'll be like, uh-oh. And then Jacob Elliott's heart will go up into his throat. But you can see the traffic, the patch of traffic is in. He's trying to be patient, trying to take his time. He's going to dive down to the inside as Eric's going to drive hard on the outside. Eric really putting the pressure here on Patrick. And, you know, it's going to make it tough. Is now they're going to catch up to Jeremy Gibbs, and Patrick sort of boxed in here at the moment. Almost a little bit of contact there. Is, man, almost going to go 3 wide here. And they are 3 wide right in front of Jacob. And Jacob is not happy about this. Man, look at Eric Martinez. He's like, I'm staying on this freaking lead lap. As he goes and splits Jeremy Gibbs, excuse me, and is really battling Patrick Dravick. I think Eric is like, I ain't raced nobody all race long. I'm going to race the heck out of you, Pat. Pat down to the inside, trying to use that inside line, but Eric has made that. You could see, even though Patrick is definitely faster, that outside line as the runs go on. As, Jonathan Barker slow on the track, down on the apron. May have had some sort of incident. I don't know if he was trying to get on pit road and missed it, but he's going to stay on the apron and not bring out a caution, so that's a good thing. Back up front. And what this is doing is allowing Jacob Ellingson to kind of catch up to Pat. So it's hurting Pat's chances at winning this race. You can see Pat really trying to make it work, but that 16 has got that outside line figured out, and there's even more lap traffic coming out in front of it. Eric just not able to, not going away. Patrick continues to put the pressure on. But, I mean, at this point, I know Pat, and he is not being too aggressive. You can see it looks like he is driving really deep into the corner, but that's just that inside line. It looks like he is going faster than he really is. He's taking it easy, just being patient. And not going to clear him here. Oh, he is. So, Patrick puts Eric Martinez a lap down. Eric going to drive deep into the corner, though. I don't know about this. Woo! And Patrick actually runs up the track. You know, at this point, I applaud Eric for racing to stay on the lead lap, but once you lose it, you got to be careful here. And Eric looks like he is, once he goes the lap down, he's going to call it quits. That was a scary moment there. That could have changed everything. So Eric going to come down pit road. Don't think he has to, but maybe coming in to get some tires for the end of this thing, try to make it a 2-stop race. Well, no change as far as Jacob Denson and Scott Phelps. They're still about half a second between each other, but now a 4-second gap back or up to Jacob Ellingson. So Ellingson still in control of the championship. Patrick Dravick still in control of this race. And they are just clicking off laps at this point. Back here, though, Jamie Barkus, who came down pit road trying to just throw a Hail Mary, falls back to 8th position. Unfortunately for Jamie, it just does not look like he has the speed. The car is just not doing what he wants it to do here tonight, and he is he's struggling. But, I mean, looking back on the season, I mean, I definitely think that Jacob Ellingson was sort of a standout driver, most consistent for sure. He was always in the hunt. And then, you know, I think Jacob Denson has those 4 wins, and he's very Martin Truex-like, where he'll go out there and dominate a race, and then, you know, he'll struggle in some races. And I wonder, you know, if he didn't just, this is not the best track for him, and, you know, kind of struggling to, you know, have a good starting position, and then just haven't had a caution or anything to catch him back up. So I think Jacob has been more consistent all the way through the season. Not as many wins, but I definitely think if he were able to close this thing out, as he got just over 10 laps to go, 13 laps to go, in fact, he will definitely be a deserving champion. But just a few more laps to go here in this race. The battle for second in the championship. Scott Phelps is kind of closed in here on Denson, as they are now running up on some lap traffic. Oh my goodness, what is going on up here between Jonathan Barker and the two of Jeremy Gibbs? They were making contact up here. That's scary. These two drivers battling in front of Denton and Scott Phelps. They almost made contact with each other. As I think Barker is on fresh tires, and Jeremy Gibbs does the right thing and lets those guys go. So hey, look, that great sportsmanship out of Jeremy Gibbs. I think Barker just kind of surprised him when he came on those fresh tires. I don't think he was ready for it. 10 laps to go here. Patrick Dravick still out front. Jacob Ellingson slowly reeling him back in right around a second. But unfortunately, even if Pat has a little bit of a tough little stretch of laps here, making up a second here would take all of these laps, and then it'd take another 5 to 6 laps to be able to even make the pass if Patrick was wanting to fight it. So I think Ellingson here at this moment, you don't need to win the race to win the championship. Your teammate is out front. This is a perfect scenario for Goat Locker. I think even if Ellingson would get to him, I think he would sit right behind that 07, follow him into victory lane, and be the champion. And if I know those guys like I do, I think that's exactly what they'll do. So I don't expect to see a battle for the win no matter what. Just a few more laps to go for Patrick Dravick. And he is going to win the race if a caution doesn't come out. And that's kind of what we're all wondering about. Well, let's take a second and we'll thank our sponsors one more time. Right Now Roofing. Want to appreciate what they do for this series. The main title sponsor and the sponsor on that 07 machine here in the Xfinity Series. A real big sponsor. Glad to have them on board. They were a massive part of Goat Locker this season, and we definitely appreciate their sponsorship of the Xfinity Series. Jam Premium Promotions, always a big sponsor of Goat Locker Racing. Veterans for Life Foundation, Cruising Classics, and Premier Racing Setups. Well, 5 laps to go as they cross the line. Patrick Dravick got some relatively clear track out in front of him, a few lap cars, but I can imagine at this moment we won't see anybody racing too hard. Battle for third place, though. Heating up just a little bit. Scott Phelps may not win the championship, but hey, I can get me an interview, get me a podium position. So we'll see these guys battle it out for the end of this race. Coming up on this lap, traffic here. We'll see if that plays a factor. I believe that's Jonathan Barker. Oh, he gets up in the wall. Trying to get up out of the way, and he does that. This battle continues on. Scott Phelps trying to put the pressure on, but here it comes Patrick Drabbit. White flag is out here at Iowa, and for the whole series, this is the final lap. No caution, no green, white, checkered. Comes off a turn 2. Got a 1.3 second lead over his teammate Jacob Ellingson. And off of 4, Patrick Drabbit will do it. He'll win the race. Fist pumps. And then right behind him, Jacob Ellingson. He is your champion here in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series. Takes second place and the championship. So there you have it. Goat Locker sweeps the night. Patrick Drabbit wins, and Jacob Ellingson is going to be your champion for the 2024 series. You can see he's celebrating. They're going to go down here and have some team burnouts. And they burn it down. Jacob Ellingson, your champion. Patrick Drabbit, your race winner. And they do some synchronized spinning there. I like that. As they burn it down right in front of the flag stand. What a great season. What a great series. And what a way to finish it off with a dominant Goat Locker victory. As Jamie Barkus comes home in the 9th position, but out there celebrating Alex Cruz, another Goat Locker driver. And excitement. Everybody, big smiles on their faces as they celebrate. We'll take a little break. We'll come back. We'll talk to them. See what they thought, get their thoughts, and hear that excitement. We'll be right back. All right, we are back here at Iowa. Jacob Ellingson takes the victory, or Patrick Drabbit takes the victory. Jacob Ellingson takes the championship. Let's take a look at your results. See where everybody finished. No cautions here tonight. Caution-free. Patrick Drabbit with the victory. Ellingson in second. Jacob Denson comes home in third. Scott Phelps in the 4th position. Craig Bontrager in 5th. Levi McCarty in 6th. Charlie Harcum in 7th. George Jewell in 8th. Jamie Barkus in 9th. Alex Cruz rounds out your top 10. 11th, Matt Knights. Eric Martinez in 12th. John Anthony in 13th. Jeremy Gibbs 14th. Jonathan Barker in 15th. And Tyler Justice brings up the rear of the field. Well, can't wait to get these guys in here and talk to them. But we got to start with our champion for sure. So we're going to start with Jacob Ellingson. Jacob,
How's it
well,
going, partner?
you did it. You are the champion here tonight. And, man, what a way to do it in typical Goat Locker fashion of just coming out here and dominate the race. You guys started on the front row. You started second right behind your teammate, and y'all just kind of set sail for quite a while as the other playoff drivers just trying to keep up. And go caution free. It worked right into your favor. But, man, congratulations on the championship. How does it feel to be the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series champion?
Oh man, I'm beside myself. I can't believe I actually did it. It feels well earned, throughout the entire season. I mean, the competition in this series with all the drivers was just phenomenal. I mean, racing against, Jacob Denson, Trevor, I wonder where he was tonight, he would have been great to have out on Iowa here, but Trevor, he's always fast, always up front, Jacob Denson, again, always fast up front, Scott Phelps, Jamie, when he's not racing in a hotel room, even though he was pretty fast tonight, we did a lot of practice before the race started, but it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't believe it.
Well, man, just kind of reflecting on the season. I mean, you had a really good season, kind of talked about it. I mean, Denson got the 4 wins, but it kind of seemed like, while yes, that was the case, it seemed like you were really, really consistent all season long. And I think that was the big difference. So I definitely feel like that you're one of the better drivers, probably the best overall in the whole season. So kind of talk about the season, reflect on it just a little bit, and just just kind of go over the whole season.
I mean, there was a couple of races where, I kind of made some decisions where I put myself in a bad spot or kind of had to work my way up front, back up to the front. I can't remember the races offhand. So many races that we done throughout all the series. But I do know there was a couple races where I put myself in a bad spot and I had to work my way back up front, which was kind of frustrating. A couple of tracks, weren't my go-tos. New Hampshire being one of them. Um, that's always a tough track for me. Richmond was another one where I had to start and park. I had some internet issues, so I qualified up, and then I was blinking a lot, and I ended up just pulling off. That was another one where I was actually really looking forward to Richmond too. I love that track. Uh, and then just kind of just keeping my head low and putting down laps and making my way through the playoffs. And then, I didn't expect this though. I mean, Pat got out front and it was like, all right, well, there's my rabbit to chase, and just couldn't believe it.
Well, and it was an impressive race indeed. I mean, I don't think you ever had to pass or really do anything with anybody. You're out there just by yourself, just clicking off laps. And it was a pretty quick race, 115 laps at Iowa. It's pretty short altogether type of race. So, interesting, that, other guys weren't as competitive, but it just shows how much you guys are prepared and how ready you were to fight for this championship. And it definitely showed here tonight. So, I mean, congratulations on a great season. Congratulations on a second place tonight, but you're the champion of the Xfinity Series. And, man, as always, who you got to thank in sponsor shout-outs?
I definitely got to thank Right Now Roofing for coming on board with the Xfinity Series, being the title sponsor. We hope to have them back for the following for the future seasons to come. Jam Printing Promotions, Cruising Classics, Veterans for Life, Premier Racing Setups, and then Podium Esports for doing the broadcast on Friday nights. Nazareth 360 for doing Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then you, Eddie, with V Speed. Can't thank you enough for doing such an amazing job all season to broadcast with this series. It's been a blast to go back and watch every single one of them. I can't thank you enough for doing it. And hope you come back on board again for next season. And then a few personal shout outs to my beautiful girlfriend for allowing me to have the time to do this wonderful hobby and spend time with the guys at GLR to escape reality for a couple of hours a night. And then all the kids, her kids and my daughter. Um, there's always a blast to be around. And then to my dad, who has had a few weeks of some health issues, is still in the hospital, but hopefully this championship win on my part gets him on the mend and gets him focused on getting better.
Well, all right. Well, there you have it. Your champion, Jacob Ellingson. Congratulations. All right. Well, let's talk to our winner in the race tonight and see what he thought about the race. Patrick Drabick got him up into the booth here tonight. And, man, you started up front, set sail, and never looked back. And, I mean, the race detail shows like 5 lead changes, but we know better. It was just you, and it was you led every daggum lap. You weren't in the playoffs, unfortunately, missed the cut, but what a great way to come out swinging at the end of the season. Your teammate win the championship, and you get to win the race. What a cool way of doing it. 1-2, you kind of end on that high of a win. You're going to be the previous winner for about 5 months, I think. So. You're gonna be the last week's winner for a long time. So talk a little bit about what y'all's preparation was like tonight. I know Jamie in a hotel room dealing with a setup that's new. It makes it difficult, but you out there look really fast. You started on the front row and you really just controlled that race. So talk a little bit about your strategy here tonight and how are you able to whoop the field here?
Man, I love Iowa, first and foremost. I mean, I did not realize coming in today it was going to be a day race, so it almost kind of threw me off a little bit there. It's typically just don't race Iowa during the day. It's slick, it's hot, and that's kind of what it was tonight. Car very loose coming off, especially turn number 4. And really, I mean, preparation and all those types of things was just trying to keep the tires underneath it, trying not to burn up that right rear. One of the things I kind of learned about this Xfinity car a few weeks ago is it likes to be driven hard. So, just staying in it, trying to keep with those lap times and just monitoring what my teammates were doing, knowing that 2 of them were there in the championship as well.
Yeah, well, you had some battle with some lap traffic there, which was a lot of fun. I said in the broadcast, I wonder if Jacob is not saying, "Hey, I see you up there battling that lap car pretty hard. Could you take it easy?" I didn't know if maybe Jacob was whispering in your ear, saying, "Hey, take it easy here. Don't bring out a caution." But that looked like it was a lot of fun, though. You didn't really have a chance to battle anybody all day, so you and Eric Martinez going at it. You split a guy. I think it was Jeremy Gibbs 3 wide there. That looked like a lot of fun. So, what was it like dealing with the traffic? How easy were you trying to be? Just trying to be smart, knowing that you don't want to cause a caution.
Yeah, I don't know what your definition of fun is and mine, but I think they're a little separate. When I'm out there leading like that, and these lap cars are just battling the snot out of me. I mean, it was fun there for a little while, but
it was fun for me.
Okay, well, fair enough. But that's important. I want you to have fun too, Eddie. That he come up on fresher tires, caught me, passed me. Okay, let him go. Kind of had a feeling he was going to burn him up, just the line he was running and how hard he was running, and he did. And then we battled it out for 10 laps side by side, and I'm like, holy smokes, guy, just let me go here. I'm obviously a little bit faster. I lost about a half a second, 0.6 of a second off my lead to Ellingson during that time. But after all that sorted itself out, started to run away. And I'm going to tell you, Eddie, I never in the world expected to come out here and put on a performance like we did here tonight. To take the pole, to lead, we'll just say every damn lap. It was pretty amazing. And it's an awesome way to cap off the season and put this Right Now Roofing, Chevy Camaro in victory lane.
Yeah, talk a little bit about Right Now Roofing and their contribution to this league and the nonprofit and the whole deal. Just kind of briefly talk about them and what they've accomplished here and y'all have done together here at Goat Locker.
Yeah, well, Right Now Roofing is a veteran-owned company. They're based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They also, have a branch down in Florida as well. And through a couple connections, we got connected with them. They absolutely loved what we were doing. Wanted to put a car on track. We put 2 cars on track. And once they got involved with this, they just went all in. They were I know we've talked about it many times. They were the first ones to step up to the plate and sponsor a veteran sim rig. So the sim rig that Warren Clayton got, was actually sponsored by Right Now Roofing. And our partnership moving forward looks just as bright as ever. They will damn sure be back next season right here in the Xfinity series sponsoring it. And I tell you another little fun fact. I don't know if Jamie's ever talked about it or not, but if you look at Jamie Barkis's car, they actually took his paint scheme and wrapped one of their company cars the exact same way.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty rad looking paint scheme. And when the owner of the company saw it, he's like, "I need to wrap one of my company cars that way." And apparently, that's what he went out and did.
How about that? Well, hey, we love to hear stories like that where iRacing and real life sort of merge together sometimes, and that's a really cool deal. Well, Pat, your teammate won the championship. You won the race tonight. Congratulations, and man, the floor is yours. Who you got to thank?
Well, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Jake Ellingson. Jake Ellingson's our champion, man, and I can't say enough about how hard that guy works, not only on track but off track. All the effort, time, energy he puts into Goat Locker Racing. If you raced in a race this season, he's the one went into iRacing, set everything up. He does a lot of things in Discord. Jake Ellingson puts in the work not only on the track but off the track. So yeah, we got a bunch of cool sponsors, Jam Printing and Promotions. I talked about Right Now Roofing, what you're doing at V Speed, the Veterans for Life Foundation, Above the Yellow Line, Redbeard Design, got some new ones coming on board, all those types of things. Cruising Classics, quite obviously, Nasties that came on board, but Jake Ellingson deserves all the credit in the world, all the highlight in the world. That kid has put in so much freaking work, and I could not be happier to see him bring home this Xfinity championship.
All right. Well, there you have it. High praise for Patrick Drapick, your winner, as he takes home the victory here tonight. And patiently waiting back here is your third place finisher. And Jacob, I appreciate you being patient. But man, what a great season out of you. You stood out. You had those 4 wins, and tonight the qualifying was that kind of what did you in? Just where you ended up qualifying, starting in that 7th position.
I think that had a big impact on it, starting in back in seventh. And just hard to pass here. You could get on the inside of somebody, but you'd end up just burning your tires up trying to get around them. If you could get on the high line, of course, I think everybody knew that, so it was easy to just get up there and block. But yeah, that had a big impact. Could have used a caution there at the end, but really proud of what we were able to get done.
Yeah, and I think the season overall, I mean, these one race deals, like what we tried to, well, a lot of leagues try to implement, and try to replicate from the actual, NASCAR racing. It's such a tough deal because you got one, you can have the best season and then come in one race and everything not to go perfect, and you don't come away with a championship. So it's a tough deal to come in and do it in one race. I think if you look over the season, you both Jacobs, you and Ellingson kind of set yourselves apart. McManus was really fast too. Y'all three were sort of the favorites going into everything. You two were the ones to make it. You both Jacobs made it into the final four, and the difference was just the qualifying. And you guys all over the season were just trading blows back and forth and just come up a little bit short here tonight. But yeah, I mean, talk about the season, reflect on it a little bit. I mean, first off, did you have fun? I mean, I know
Oh,
it's not good to ask the guy who finished second in the championship, did he have fun? But did you enjoy the season? Were you happy that you showed up here at Goat Locker to race?
absolutely. We had, and I say we, I'm talking about the entire team, BNX Racing. We had a blast. A lot of great competition. Really enjoy the broadcast that you put on. Proud of what we were able to accomplish. Like I said, 4 wins. It all comes down to that last race, and I kind of get, Iowa, somewhat of a short track. You expect a little bit of excitement, some fireworks, but when you get those long green flag runs, it just kind of spreads out, and it is what it is. I wasn't able to get it done.
Yeah, well, fantastic season. Definitely something to hang your hat on. Second place in the points, but man, still a fantastic season for you. A third place here tonight, showing just how good you are. But man, congratulations on a great season. Congratulations on a good finish here tonight, and looking forward to see what you do in the next season.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. I hear they got some summer series going on. We might be a part of those. I think Wednesday nights they said they're running the ARCAs. Might even try those open wheels. I don't really run those too much, so it might be good to try those out and see what we can do.
All right. Well, who you got to thank, Jacob?
I definitely want to thank the sponsors of the league. Eddie, I appreciate what you do. You do a good job. V Speed, Red Beard Design Company, Cruising Classics, Veterans for Life Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, and of course, right now, Roofing for putting on the entire league. I definitely want to thank B&H Racing, my teammates, Charlie Harcum, Scott Phelps, Jeremy Gibbs, them guys support me. We really help each other, I think. And of course, Little Miami Brewing, that's my main sponsor. They're not on the hood, they're on the back door, but they're the ones that really I look out for and hope you guys, if you ever end up in the Cincinnati area, they're on the river, grab you a canoe, get you a paddle, head on up there and get you a cold beer.
All right, that sounds good to me. Jacob Denson, second place in the standings, third place in the race here tonight, but a great season overall. And hey, speaking of which, that is going to do it for us. Man, what a great, great season, and what a way to finish it off. Well, I have enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun, and this is it. We'll see y'all next time whenever we get this thing back rolling in a few months after the summer is over. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're not subscribed to V-Speed, please hit that button. You might see some other things. I believe the IndyCar series on Tuesday nights are going to be here on this channel. So, hey, want to be subscribed, be here for that. So go ahead and hit that. But congratulations again to Jacob Ellingson. We'll see y'all when we see you.